A new bipartisan effort to crack down on TikTok now gaining traction in Congress, which is set to vote on a bill as early as this week. Former President Trump, who led the original push for the ban, seemed to change his stance when he weighed in on Squawk Box earlier today.
I was at the point where I could have gotten it done if I wanted to. I sort of said, you guys decide, you make that decision, because it's a tough decision to make. Frankly, there are a lot of people on TikTok that love it. There are a lot of young kids on TikTok who will go crazy without it. There are a lot of users. There's, a lot of good, and there's a lot of bad with TikTok. But the thing I don't like is that without TikTok, you can make Facebook bigger. And I consider Facebook to be an enemy of the people, along with a lot of the media.
Deirdre Boza joins us now for today's Tech Check. Pick up on that thought, Dee.
Hey, Tyler. Yeah, it is just such a massive about-face. I remember in 2020 when President Trump spearheaded the TikTok threat and started talking about banning it, which he also identifies in that clip that you just played. The question is, why is he changing this stance right now, and why is he juxtaposing it with Facebook? It's interesting. Some have speculated that President Trump himself and some MAGA content has actually been sort of suppressed on Facebook, and it gets a lot of play on TikTok, even if his campaign isn't posting directly itself. A lot of his speeches, a lot of his content gets clipped and posted there. And as he said, people go crazy for TikTok. It is a younger demographic, some 150 million users here in the United States. It's where a lot of that demographic gets their news. So it is in his interest, especially leading up to the election, for his content to be on there and also to take a stance against Facebook. But I think the speed at which this ban is once again in the news and coming up to another vote in the Senate has sort of caught everyone a little bit off guard, right? There's always been this undertone. It's always been a bipartisan issue. But the timeline from here, it's all happening, I think, quicker than many had expected. The bill will go to the House and then to the Senate and then to President Biden's desk for signing. If you wonder where TikTok could fight back, it could challenge the legality around the First Amendment, saying that it's a violation of free speech. So there's still some ways to get there. And we've been here before. How difficult would it actually be? Could it sell to an American like Bobby Kotick if he can raise the funding? Those are all questions that we're going to encounter in the coming weeks.
Very interesting. Are there other foreign owners of major internet social media sites?
So TikTok was kind of this phenomenon because until TikTok, there wasn't a big Chinese company that had made major inroads into the American market. Now, not social media, but Temu and Shein, right? These are huge e-commerce players that have successfully captured American consumers. So you have to wonder, back in 2020, President Trump talked about banning TikTok and WeChat. But the more relevant conversation today may be what happens to Temu and Shein, which has collected a lot of American user engagement. But it's the whole question around, do you ban Chinese apps? That's what they do to our companies over there. Or do American consumers who love to use them, do they use the great firewall, the great VPN to get beyond and use these apps that they enjoy?
It's interesting, too, because you mentioned those Temu and Shein. The young users there, those who are being accustomed to using platforms that originate in China, that's where they really proliferate. Deirdre, thank you. Appreciate it.